Welcome to the channel where we break down the biggest global headlines shaking the world right now. Today, we are diving deep into the high stakes US Iran nuclear negotiations unfolding in Oman as we speak. Could this be the turning point to avert another Middle East crisis, or just more diplomatic theater amid Trump's tough talk and Iran's defiance? These indirect talks, mediated by Oman, pit Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi against US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law, in a tense bid to tackle Iran's nuclear ambitions after last year's US strikes on its facilities. With an American armada steaming toward the Persian Gulf and memories of recent Israeli bombings fresh, both sides are under massive pressure, but what are they really fighting over? Historical flashback from JCPOA to chaos. Picture this. Back in 2015, the world breathed a sigh of relief when the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, capped Tehran's uranium enrichment in exchange for sanctions relief, hailed as a diplomatic masterstroke. But fast forward to Trump's first term, and he ripped it up in 2018, calling it the worst deal ever, unleashing maximum pressure sanctions that cratered Iran's economy and pushed enrichment to near weapons grade. Now, in his second go-round since January 2025, Trump has doubled down. Last June, US forces joined Israel in pounding Iranian nuclear sites during a 12-day blitz, forcing Tehran to pause enrichment but not before vowing revenge. Enter 2026. Nationwide protests erupt in Iran against Supreme Leader Khamenei, with thousands reportedly killed in the crackdown, leaving the regime wobbling, and Trump tweeting help is on the way to demonstrators. Is the perfect storm strikes, street rage, and sanctions setting the stage for today's Oman showdown? Key players on the ground. Iran's Abbas Araghchi, a grizzled diplomat who's led past nuclear talks, arrived in Muscat with a preliminary plan for Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi, stressing equal standing, mutual respect, and mutual interest on X before the huddle. He is no pushover. Araghchi is shuttling memories of broken US promises, entering with open eyes and steady memory. On the US side, Steve Witkoff, Trump's Middle East envoy and real estate buddy, teams with Kushner, the deal maker from Abraham Accords fame, for indirect chats, meaning Omani's ferry proposals room to room. Trump himself, he is blunt. Yesterday he boasted, they don't want us to hit them. We have a big fleet going there, while eyeing regime change, saying it's time for new leadership in Iran. Secretary of State Marco Rubio echoes this, demanding talks cover not just nukes but missiles, proxies like Hezbollah, and human rights abuses. Oman plays neutral Switzerland here, hosting rounds 2 and beyond. After initial exchanges, al-Busaidi met each side separately, praising the determination for sustainable security. What's on the table? At core, it's Iran's nuclear program. Washington wants a full stop to uranium enrichment, plus curbs on ballistic missiles that spook Israel and Gulf allies. Tehran insists on nukes only, no missiles or proxies, and demands sanctions lifted first, rejecting maximalist US asks as non-starters. Recent twists. After stalled January talks, Trump threatened fresh strikes if Iran rebuilds nukes or missiles, with intel showing Tehran's vulnerability post-protests and bombings. Oman relayed Iran's plan to Witkoff. Now US views are bouncing back amid pauses for capital consults. Broader agenda? US pushes regional de-escalation, Iran's Yemen Houthis, Iraq militias, and Syria meddling while Iran eyes sanction relief to stabilize its rival. Stakes sky high. Failure risks US-Israeli strikes. Success could thaw decades of enmity. Why Oman, the perfect middleman? Oman's Muscat isn't random. It's mediated US-Iran back channels for years, staying cozy with both amid Saudi rivalries. Today's format, separate rooms, Omani shuttles classic indirect diplomacy to save face. This echoes 2013 secret talks that birthed JCPOA, proving neutral turf works when trust is zero. Trump's leverage, armada and allies. Trump's playbook shines. That aircraft carrier group isn't bluster, it's parked off Iran's coast, backing threats of immediate action. Allies like Israel, fresh from depleting interceptors last year, cheer missile curves, Gulf states fear Iranian retaliation. Domestically, protests weaken Khamenei. Trump's new leadership jabs exploit this, blending diplomacy with regime pressure. Critics call it risky brinkmanship. Fans say it's the only way to force concessions. Iran's defiant stance amid turmoil. Tehran's cornered. Enrichment halted post-strikes. Economy tanked. Protests raging. Yet Khamenei's advisors vow to hit Israel if provoked. Araghchi's plan likely offers nuclear caps for sanctions ease, but no missile bows red line for hardliners. Internal dissent adds urgency. Will concessions spark more unrest or buy breathing room? Global ripples, oil, allies and beyond. If talks tank, oil spikes, Strait of Hormuz choke point threatens 20% of world supply. China and Russia back Iran, complicating UN plays. Europe urges restraint. Success stabilizes region, frees US focus on China. Failure escalates to war footing. Potential outcomes and wildcards. Best case, framework deal by weekend nuclear freeze. Missile talks later, sanctions thaw, Trump claims win. Worst, impasse, strikes resume, proxies flare, wildcards, protests spillover, Israeli preemptives, or Trump's tweets derailing it all. Analysts split. Some see Trump's pressure yielding JCPOA 2. Others warn unclear strategy risks uncertain ground. What's next and why you should care? Rounds continue post pauses. Watch for Araghchi, Witkoff readouts. As a faceless channel viewer, this shapes your gas prices, markets, security, geopolitics, hits home. Smash like if you're hooked, subscribe for daily deep dives, drop comments, deal or no deal, turn on notifications, next update drops soon. Thanks for watching, stay informed, stay ahead.